I think when we all look back, for the most part, we can all agree that we were stupid as kids. Stupid with two O's, and I am no exception. One time, stuck my finger up my butt, asked my mom to smell it. Fortunately, she declined. Another time, when I was 4 or 5, I walked up to my parents and asked, "What do these buttons do?" as I rubbed my nipples. I digress. Why do kids act like this? Why am I embarrassed when looking back at those memories? That is, suggesting that I am more mature now. Well, for the past few weeks, I've been conducting research with what little resources I have due to the current pandemic, and I strongly believe that the answer can be chopped up to 3 simple words: self-awareness. Okay, I lied, so it was 2 words. Fight me. But when I say self-awareness, I mean self-awareness of absolutely everything. Your place in the universe, the world, in everyone else's eyes, thoughts and opinions, ideas and emotions, the difference you make every single time you act on anything. To be aware of absolutely all of that just isn't something a child's mind is wired to understand. Implying that we can understand all of those thoughts is intentional. A theory by Jean Piaget over cognitive development states that there are 4 steps that we all must go through in order to achieve this self-awareness, or the more politically correct term is full human intelligence. So first is the sensory motor stage, typically developed from when we were born until the age of 2. Second, the pre-operational stage, which we develop from ages 2 to 7. Third, the concrete operational stage, experienced from age 7 until our tween years. Fourth, the formal operational stage, ages 12 and up. What all of these steps entail will be covered in further detail, and by the end of this video essay, like me, you will have a better understanding of the thought process of children. Therefore, you might be able to forgive your past actions. So, without any more delay, my name is Cooper, and today we will be covering Piaget's theory of cognitive development. Stage 1, the sensory motor stage. Since the date of birth until the age of 2, these kids develop the 5 senses through both experiences and movement. They begin with simple reflexes. Soon after, they begin to develop their first habits, like sucking your thumb. As well as this, their actions become more intentional. Next, they come to the realization of something known as object permanence. A very popular game between parents and children at this age is Peekaboo. The game is simple, and I'm sure that you know how it works, but allow me to indulge in humoring myself. Essentially, the game is as follows. The parent/guardian of the child sits in direct view of said child and goes on to cover their face with their hands. The parent/guardian would then go on to remove their hands from their face, revealing to the child that they were actually there the whole time. Oh, and then surprising the kiddo by shouting, "Peekaboo! It's a cute game, kids love it." So, before their realization of object permanence, they truly would have believed that their parent/guardian was disappearing and reappearing right before their eyes. For they didn't understand that objects continue to exist even when, they can't view them. Finally, they become curious about everything around them, so they begin to smell, touch, taste, listen, and watch everything around them. They explore, marking the beginning of their journey of crawling, standing, walking, and running. All of this leads to increased cognitive development, but they remain egocentric at this stage, seeing the world only from their eyes. Stage 2, the pre-operational stage. From ages 2 to 7, their thinking is mainly categorized for symbolic functions and intuitive thoughts. As they begin to speak and understand that words, images, and gestures are symbols for something else, they recreate them in their vocabulary as to get a reaction from others, so they might better understand what those symbols actually mean. Though at this stage, they are all egocentrics. Understanding the meanings of symbols through others' reaction is commonplace during childhood. However, they still can't quite grasp the concept of what those symbols mean to others. Don't let me deceive you, not all of it is bad. For example, when they draw their family, they aren't, concerned about drawing each person to scale, but instead with their symbolic meaning. See? Innocent enough. They also love to play pretend at this stage. This allows them new experiences and the opportunity to learn. Finally comes the intuitive age, for while they are aware of the knowledge that they carry, they don't quite know how they acquired it in the first place. So they begin asking a lot of questions and become very curious. They want to know everything. who could blame them? By the end of this stage, they believe that others see the world as they do. They don't understand that they see it any differently. Stage 3. The concrete operational stage. From ages 7 to 11, we discover logic and concrete cognitive operations. Say that 5 times fast. Such as sorting objects in a certain order. First off, they finally understand the concept of conservation. Conservation refers to a logical thinking ability that allows a person to determine that a certain quantity will remain the same despite adjustment of the container, shape, or parent size. Like, whenever you have 2 different glasses of water, but one is thinner and taller, one's wider, but shorter. The wider one's going to actually hold more water because it has more empty volume, It has more empty space for you to put water in it. I don't know. That's not the point. Point being is that that's what you're understanding, and that's what happens at the stage. Moving on, then their brains learn to reorganize its thoughts. For example, only now can they understand that if 5 plus 5 equals 10, then 10 minus 5 equals 5. They begin to apply their new mental abilities in conversations, activities, and in school. They begin to understand that their thoughts and feelings are unique and not those of others. Consequently, they learn to put themselves in somebody else's shoes. So, in other words, by the end of this stage, all remaining thoughts having to deal with egocentrism are dropped. And last but not least, stage 4. Beginning at age 12 and lasting the rest of their life, they become formally operational. First off, they now have the ability to think more rationally about abstract concepts and hypothetical events. They now truly understand the concepts such as success and failure, love and hate, etc. They become more compassionate through understanding why people behave the way they do. And last but not least, their brain can now do deductive reasoning, the process of reasoning from one or more statements to reach a logically certain conclusion. They can now plan their life systematically, prioritizing certain events. Now they can philosophize, just think about thinking itself. According to Piaget's theory of cognitive development, learning is lifelong. However, it insists that this is the last stage of the cognitive journey. Much like how the cognitive journey has come to a close, unfortunately, this video is approaching its end as well. Piaget's theory argues that we have to conquer 4 stages of cognitive development before we can reach full human intelligence. First, the sensory motor stage. Second, the pre-operational stage. Third, the concrete operational stage. Fourth, the formal operational stage. Personally, understanding these phases has given me a better understanding of how children think, as well as a better understanding of how to communicate with them. A nice perk to have when living in a household with 2 younger sisters. I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I did making it. Getting to research all of this stuff felt more like a break than it did schoolwork to me, and I appreciate that. I'll see you next time.